All right, at 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting in order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Councilmember Henry.
I'll second.
And a second by Councilmember Mock. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say aye. Motion passes. All right, community comments. Does not look like we have any members of the community here or on the Zoom, so we will move right along to presentations and reports, because Callie looks like he is ready and excited to present the fire department.
I'm excited to get to training tonight. They're playing pickleball.
All right, Chief Trimble, have at it.
Thank you, Mayor and council members.
But we also want to hear, how pickleball relates to fire department training.
Air management. So if you can
Oh.
imagine, they're in their turnout gear with their full SCBA on.
Oh, they have to play fully geared.
And
Okay.
so you can kind of accurately account for how much time it takes you to go through a bottle of air. Some people 10 minutes, some people 30 minutes. So we've done basketball, we've done dodgeball, so pickleball is kind of something.
I thought it was going to PI for like sprained ankles or something. That's interesting.
That is super fascinating. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to give you a brief update on the fire department. Not much has changed over since the last time I was here, I think in July.
Except the clicker doesn't work.
Except the clicker is
August. You were here in August.
August. Okay, there we go. So the percentage is basically the same. Carver still stands at about 77% of our calls. Dahlgren 11%. San Francisco 8%, and then we've had responded to a couple of mutual aid calls in recent months. So Carver 211 calls so far. If you think back, 2 years we didn't do 200 calls, so that's a pretty big jump. So moving on, calls of the week. This is all pretty standard. For some reason, Friday's at a low, which is nice, but every other day is pretty much averaging between 30 and 45 calls per day. Types of calls, we have seen medical calls go down a little, so that's good to see. It went down to 65%. I think it was 70-some% last time I was here. We have seen an uptick in hazardous calls, which is, if you can imagine, gas line breaks, primarily due to the MetroNet expansion that we've seen in the neighborhoods. So hopefully next year we'll see that number go back down.
Anything to do with construction or not much?
Not
like housing or?
Nope, it's all strictly them boring in the lines.
Okay.
Yep.
So, is what we've seen. Other than that, everything else has pretty much stayed the same as what it was the last time I was here. Any questions? Glenn, I changed the colors.
No, I asked for that.
Oh,
I was
you-
gonna say, I love it.
okay.
I love it.
Oh, it's so much better. Love
Yeah.
it. Keep it coming.
So, I had it all done, and then at the last minute, I'm like, they wanted the colors changed.
It says
So,
light blue
yeah.
and lighter blue.
Got it
Yeah,
done.
Thank you.
So 2022 compared to 2021, this is through October 31st. You can kind of see we're 272 calls compared to 252 calls last year. And you can kind of just see every month's been up a little bit. I think year to date we're up about 7%. I think we'll finish the year at around 325 calls. So, like I just said, calls are up 7%. We have seen an increase of gas lines this season. We should see that go down next year. And then we currently have 31 staff, so we'll probably look at, I think full's 33. So we'll look at doing some hiring next spring. So we'll start advertising in January, February. It's really like a 6 to 7 month process. So, but we'll work on that. And then we just received our new battery power extrication tools, which they're also playing Jenga tonight with them. So I'm missing out on that.
I'll let the Lions know.
When you're recruiting, you need to
You need to
get
really
respond
talk
to
this
fires,
stuff
you
up.
play Jenga,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
play pickleball, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they'll be in service by the end of the month. So, again, thank you, the Lions, for making that happen, Christy, and everybody that was a part of that. So, really all I got. You guys got any questions for me?
I do not, but thank you for changing those graphs to make them readable. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Can we get an update on how great your event was?
The golf tournament?
Both.
The open house.
The open house.
Both, open house and the golf.
You know, the open house is my favorite event of the year. We get to see so many people within the community come out. It's been several years that we've partnered with the city and public services and kind of just made it an all-encompassing event. I think we went through about 700 bowls of chili, like 500 and some hot dogs, several hours of truck rides. It was an amazing event. I think I hear comments all around the communities and other communities that Carver has one of the best open house around. So all the people that came, the vendors, they're all impressed and are happy to come back next year. So
I did hear there maybe of some sadness that some kids didn't manage to get on the fire trucks because the lines were so long, or maybe you guys had shut down. I unfortunately was out of town, so I couldn't make it that night.
you know, we have three fire trucks running, you know, basically
Yeah.
for 3 hours. And that line is long, and we try to do our best to minimize it, but it's kind of just
Yeah.
the nature of the event.
Okay. I didn't know if you shortened the rides at all or anything.
I heard
just to get...
from some folks, and it was more the parents' decision of it was meltdown 30.
Oh,
we
gotcha.
decided to leave.
That happens.
That was
Meltdown
like
30
the
happens. So.
catalyst for
Okay.
it.
We didn't. We do partner with Chaska, so we go over to Chaska and we help them with their truck rides, and they
They do in
they
return.
bring a truck over to Carver, and we share resources in that matter.
Okay.
So.
And that was in no way any kind of a hit on the event because it's great. I've been to it many times. The kids love it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The golf tournament was a great success. I don't have the dollar amount what was raised or anything. I think it was a good benefit for both the families and the fire department. So, or the fire relief. Sorry. So that's it.
All
All I
right.
got.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Callie.
Thanks, Callie.
Have fun playing pickleball.
Yeah.
Going to.
You guys need to
Kelly,
take
will you take some
pictures.
pictures of
Yeah,
the Jenga
video.
with the with
That
the
needs to go on
execution
social
equipment?
media. Yes.
I would love to show the lions. those
And
pictures.
videos of the pickleball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have fun. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Up next, we have the Sheriff's Department update. Deputy. Oh,
I knew exactly.
I want to make sure you don't get mistaken for firefighter.
Right.
Right. How's it going?
Good. Thank you, Mayor and Council,
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
being here. It's my first City Council update, so wasn't quite sure how it went or what was expected, so it'll be a good learning experience for next time. But I put a slide there, a little bit about me. I couldn't remember if everyone had met me or not, but a little bit of my background. Went to Northwestern, National Guard for 8 years, deployed to Kuwait last year, and then 2 years at the Sheriff's Office, mostly in the South District. A lot of time spent in Carver before this position, so pretty familiar. Yeah. You hit the next one? No. No worries. While that's going, I printed out some of our update reports. If you don't mind if I hand these out. This is a comparison of last year and this year, all of our types of calls.
Thank you.
Is this for the whole county or
No,
just
this is
Carver?
for the city.
Just Carver.
I can show you down there.
Yep.
This is probably one of the most helpful things I've seen out of the county.
I'm impressed that
Could
you
we
can
get
read
this
that.
on a regular basis? Maybe
Yeah.
quarterly, I'm okay with biannually.
Yes,
Just
whatever.
sort of the year-over-year comparison is really helpful.
Yeah, whatever you
I
guys
like
would
quarterly.
like. Quarterly.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can run
I
the
really like
dates
this.
for whatever city in the county.
Okay.
If you want to see it versus the county. or
Yeah.
Dates of the year. So this one specifically is January to October 31st of 2021
Mm-hmm.
and 2022, just because I didn't want to do a full year versus 10 months. So it gives a little more accurate. So you can hit to the next slide for me. Group A, just so you understand, is more of our what we would consider violent crimes. That has our assaults, our burglaries. Some things we don't see as much, arson, homicides. Thankfully, there have been 0 in Carver in the last year and this year. Prostitution, sex offenses, things like that. That's going to be our Group A offenses, so it's going to show last year, January to the end of October, there was 107 those Group A offenses. This year, there were 78, so it was a 27.1% decline in those Group A offenses, which is good to see. Group B is going to be more of our property crimes, like disorderly conduct, drunkenness, things that aren't violent in nature. From last year to this year, that has also declined an increase of 5 calls from 17 to 22, and then A and B total, there was a decline of 19%. And then if you flip over to page 2, it's going to show things we respond to that we consider non-criminal, assisting other agencies, abuse calls, alarms, medicals, things of that nature. From 2021 to 2022, there was a 7.8% decrease in those sorts of calls. The mental health calls are under non-criminal, which there's no crime to be in mental health, but that's one of our more significant non-criminal calls that we would go to, involving a second partner or things that could cause a little bit more danger to the community or to me personally. And then the last section down there is going to be traffic. That's going to involve traffic stops, what is labeled traffic miscellany, which is what we call motorist assist. If someone's on the side of the road with their hazards on, we always stop and see what's going on. Sometimes it turns into more than just running out of gas or something of the sort. So from last year to this year, that actually went up 23.7%. And at the very bottom, those two numbers for total patrol activity is all of these sections combined is going to show an increase of 0.5%. So very similar from last year to this year on all calls combined.
Traffic stops includes like speeding or
Yep,
not
any
stopping at a stop sign or.
correct, any sort of traffic violation
Okay.
involving turning on our lights and stopping that vehicle. So there's a lot of
stuff in there.
there's a lot of stuff in there.
Okay.
Yep. Those
Well, there's a lot of calls.
yeah, those wouldn't necessarily get broken down just
Sure.
because the way in our system they're all just labeled traffic stop, and then you
Right.
have to look at them individually for what the stop is for. So it'd be hard for me to break down those numbers without
That's okay.
looking at.
I'm not
every single
asking you to. I just want to
Okay.
know what was included.
It'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see too, because the first half of 2021, not people, people weren't driving quite as much. So it'd
Right.
be interesting to do the next years to see where we're at, because obviously
sure.
people are driving
Yes.
more again. I have one question too about miscellaneous non-criminal.
Yes.
What falls in that?
Oh, lots of things. That's pretty much anything that someone calls the sheriff's office about that there's no crime committed and there's not another sort of
It's a catch-all category?
yeah, it's
Okay.
a catch-all. There's a lot of things that people believe that police should be assisting them with in their daily lives, which sometimes we can, but most of the time it's something that's not necessarily a police matter. But it ranges from needing help getting in, they lock themselves out of their house. Let's say they forgot their keys or
Cats in the tree kind of call?
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's not an emergency. It's not really categorized under any sort of crime or anything else. So it's a catch-all. That's a good word for it.
I also wonder how many states have theirs called out for deer versus motor vehicle. I love that we call it.
MV.
Motor
vehicle
versus deer.
Midwest is very high, like
Yeah.
Wisconsin, the Dakotas.
New York
That's
probably
what
not
I
so
like
much.
No.
Chicago, the Chicago area,
But
probably
yes.
not.
Yeah,
Specifically
I love that we call it
versus
out.
deer.
yeah. 1 to 2, so there's a 100% increase from last year to this year. One of those was actually last week it was a 10-point buck that came out of the wildlife refuge across Maine, just over here coming into downtown. So
And got hit?
yeah,
Did they keep it? Did they get their tag?
someone from the public services department claimed it and
Picked
got
him.
a tag for it. So
Right. You can't let that go.
Oh, okay.
Was it
okay.
2 years ago that U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the DNR shut down shotgun slug hunting in the bottoms? Do you know?
I don't know when they did that. I believe it is archery only there now. I'd have to confirm, but I believe it is archery.
For deer.
Yes,
You can, if I'm not mistaken, you can still turkey hunt and duck hunt down there.
I believe so as well. I don't know the timeframes or the
All right.
specifics on that, but yeah. Any other questions
Any other
regarding the
questions?
calls?
No.
Okay.
Love the year-over-year comparison.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's great.
And then I just put a slide in there for some goals for 2023 for me personally. So the first one would be community engagement, just getting out, talking to businesses. That business meeting that I attended, hopefully the next one I'll have some more people. I think it was like
Deputy Chairman came to our Carver Business Alliance meeting, but it was MEA weekend.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
we had
two business owners, yeah,
and Aaron.
and then Aaron and
Yeah.
the
It
mayor
was a
and
good
myself.
time, and
so.
we're lovely people, but
Yeah.
welcome to our community. This is the business
Yeah.
community introduction we had in mind.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of get to know a little bit more of the small business owners in Carver. And then I think some of the bigger areas where I try to make my presence more known or just be more visible is the Quick Trip. I try to be in that area several times a day, and then the Fleet Farm parking lot. Since I've been here, we haven't had any shoplifting calls from Fleet Farm. So
What?
That's
Wow, that's
Christmas
impressive.
is coming, so.
Yeah.
Give it
Christmas
time.
is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess that might go up in the next few months here, but I try to make myself there a lot to try to deter anything. So that would all be under community engagement. Increased patrol presence. I like to be a little bit more proactive in the traffic. I think we've had complaints in the city in the past for speed in certain areas, Spring Creek, Green Ash, 6th Street, which right now is not a concern, but
Oh,
it will-
really?
well,
How many people travel up and down it when they're not supposed to?
well, be that as may, once it's done, I'm sure that'll be a place where there's a lot of people speeding. So I'm hoping to increase the number of traffic stops for speed, and then things like stoplight violations. I know in the mornings at JCP in Monroe, across from Quick Trip, a lot of people like to run that light really close to red, and so that'll be one of my focuses for traffic enforcement, because that can cause some of the most serious accidents. And I've been to accidents from people running red lights in the past, and they usually don't turn out very well. So things like that will be under the canopy of increased patrol presence. Not to try and be someone that, they feel like they can't drive through Carver, but just to increase the safety of people walking around the streets or going to work in the morning. So the third thing would be developing relationships with city staff, just spending more time getting to know people from all the various departments in the city. So
Great. Regarding the increased patrol presence, I don't think you will have anyone up here, at the risk of speaking for us as a group, or our community, be against that. I mean, maybe folks who pulled over, but I think we have heard fairly strongly from a few folks that folks are going too quickly in general on any paved surface in the city of Carver.
yeah, and it's tough sometimes during the day. I've worked mostly nights as a police officer so far, and it's so much easier to make traffic stops because people just see headlights. In the day, they can see me coming from far away, so it's a little bit harder to catch the people, because I'm sure you notice when there's a cop car driving, everyone slows down, and everyone's like super aware of all the traffic laws.
About the morning I saw you on
The
212.
one morning the mayor got mad at me driving the speed limit on 212.
You're tailgating him?
No, I wasn't mad at you. I was
No.
mad at the people in the left lane who were scared
Yes,
of
I'm
going
just joking.
66 to pass you.
Yeah. So people seem to be extra careful when I'm around, so sometimes it's a little harder to do that, but I have some ideas for getting around that problem. So
Perfect.
I have a question for you. So
Yep.
we're just talking about the Christmas season coming up. We know that the Amazon packages and lots of porch pirates. So do you, like driving through the neighborhoods, I mean, do you kind of beef that up a little bit, or can you, just so that people, I mean, there's a lot of theft that happens that time of year. And I don't know if that's a huge deterrent, but I mean, making those loops through, especially some of those, you know, the newer neighborhoods, you know, where they're perceived to be more affluent, you know, they're maybe up there trying to scam all their.
Even their shrubs aren't mature enough to cover the front porch.
Right, so.
I can definitely send an email out to other cars that work, like Ross, the night deputy, and then the other south cars to just have a little bit more of a presence than normal. I know Ross at night in his downtime, he tries to circle neighborhoods. One of the things we do is look for open garage doors to shut if people forget them open, just to prevent theft and stuff like that. But I can definitely try to increase our presence in the neighborhoods during the holiday season. I know
I've just seen during the day, like, I have videos of people that I know who have been like, look what happened today, and you can see them coming up and grabbing stuff off their porch here in Carver.
Yeah.
And running off with it, so.
Yeah, I can look into some things I might be able to do to prevent some of that. I think awareness might be the most effective tool, just like for people, I know people work, but just getting packages as soon as you can off of your porch, not leaving them, you know, for a few hours after you get home or whatnot. The other thing that I've been working on is, in that sort of vein, is I made a flyer for vehicle tampering and theft from vehicles that I'm hoping to get approved to get put in one of the newsletters for Carver, because around the county and the metro area, there's been a sizable increase in thefts from vehicle thefts from people just leaving their vehicles unlocked in their driveways at night, where they come through, check doors, they're open, they grab whatever they can find and then take off, and once in a while they will take a vehicle. We even had an incident about 2 months ago where one of our deputies who took his car home, he works in Chanhassen, lives in Victoria, took it home for the night during the week, and someone came up and tried the doors on the squad car.
On the squad car.
Parked overnight. So they're bold. People are getting very bold, and so I think if more people are just aware that that's an issue, to just double check, lock your car, you know, make sure everything's secure for the night. So I could look into something for the packages as well, as far as the awareness for the community. But I'm trying to do that for the vehicle stuff right now.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Questions?
No?
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You bet. You did a great job. Nice update.
Thanks.
All right, let's see. We don't have any public hearings tonight. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Henry
A second?
and a second by Councilmember McKnight. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. No business items. City Manager Merrick, any communications updates?
Nothing, thank you.
All right. Councilmember McKnight?
My only update is from my latest Southwest Transit meeting, some statistics on fixed route services. So these are, you know, fixed routes from any of the park and ride sort of areas to downtown, to the U of M, et cetera, which really declined during the pandemic, right? And they did a lot of shifting around and optimizing of those services to be efficient. Those increased 40% in the month of September. So that is a lot of people going back to school, back to the office, sort of a predictor. It's still less than the 2019 pre-pandemic numbers, but the routes are starting to see an average of 20 to 30 passengers per trip, which is really, that's about where they kind of staff the bus sizes, is based upon that level of ridership. So that's an encouraging sign. So just an update on sort of fixed bus services. Cool. That's it.
Lori?
I don't have anything.
Christie?
The HPC meeting this month is canceled. Other than that, I don't have anything.
What?
I think we have I don't know, do we? I think we have a meeting for planning commission. Okay. I haven't seen the email come through yet, so. Anyway, all right. Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.
All right, few updates from me. The Carver Business, we talked about it a little bit with Deputy Chafin. The Carver Business Alliance was on October 21st. It was a little turnout, but again, it was MEA weekend. Trunk or Treat, the Carver's Lions, once again this year held a really fun trunk or treat. We were absolutely spoiled with the weather on October 23rd because it was like 70 degrees outside and really, really windy, but super nice. I kept saying, this must be what like trick or treat is like in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So stinking nice.
They estimated 500 kids.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I would believe it. It was a lot of kids, and a lot of kids who were dressed what would be traditionally very well for Halloween in Minnesota, and they were a little warm. So, really good event. We had a Carver County Leaders Meeting on October 25th where we went over a parks update, and that was good to get that information. The Minnesota Mayors Association's annual business meeting took place on October 26th, and that was a really quick, just like straight business meeting, and then we had a networking session afterwards, all virtual, just because it's just easier for that group. Halloween parade at Carver Ridge on October 29th, again keeping with the theme of warm, beautiful weather for Halloween events this year. That was really well turned out and really great that Carver Ridge provides that. So many great services for our community, but also kind of gets their residents enjoy seeing the little folks so much, to like have them do a 360 around the building. There was a hot chocolate stand in the back, and then candy was given out in the front. Just a really good time. Let's see, in case you missed it on social media, there was a costume contest at the city of Carver on Halloween. It was Snow White and her 7 dwarfs. Snow White and a couple of the dwarfs are joining us here tonight, but make sure you go back to the city's Facebook page to see that picture, because it was
Fun.
really, really cute. I did not recognize Snow White when I saw her that morning, so very fun. And then to reiterate Glenn's reminder that tomorrow is election day, just in case anybody forgot. Polls open at 7 a.m. and will close at 8 o'clock. So just about 11 and a half hours from now, polls open. So with that, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilmember Mock.
A second?
A second by Councilmember McKnight. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Good evening.